This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 247 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is sponsored by Eco Gold. You can visit them at ecogold.ca. Enjoy today's tip. Howdy, everybody. Glenn the Geek back with you from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, today we have back with us Max Corcoran, always a favorite here on the Horse Radio Network. As you know, she's the longtime groom for international eventer Karen O'Connor. Max takes care of all of Karen's horses. She rides every day, and she certainly knows how to run a barn. And this tip was taken off of episode 88 of the Eventing Radio Show, where Max is a part-time co-host over there. She fills in occasionally. So this, as I said, this is taken off of episode number 88. And we'll be right back after, we speak about one of the products that Max uses all the time in their barn, and that is Eco Gold. The O'Connor barn over there uses Eco Gold. They use the high-performance saddle pads and horse boots that Eco Gold produces, because they produce the top-of-the-line stuff. And they're non-slip, 100% breathable, and the ultimate in comfort and protection for your horse. They make these products with high-tech materials and a state-of-the-art design. Eco Gold's innovative products are the top choice of many top riders like Philip Dutton and Karen O'Connor and Ashley Holzer and Boyd Martin and Jessica Phoenix, our spotlight eventer on the 2010 radio show. You can learn a lot more about these products by visiting their website. They have a terrific website at ecogold.ca. You can pick your products by discipline. It's just really neat how they have it set up over there. So if you're looking for a product that's going to last, it's going to last you, it's going to be made with top quality materials, and it's one of the best you can find, then you want to look for that saddle pad or that horse boot at ecogold.ca. And now, Max Corcoran from episode 88 of the Eventing Radio Show.
Well, Max, this subject of hoof care and maintenance in dry conditions is really important, isn't it? Because there's the heat and the humidity, the heat, I should say, the dry heat just absolutely absorbs the moisture out of the hoof, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, we went from it being kind of wet when we first got home in May. It was wet here, and now it's just painfully dry, and the ground's dry, and everything's dry. And feet are starting to fall apart. They almost kind of crumble, and as the ground gets hard, it's very important to make sure that you maintain what you can do. Obviously, most of the hoof, it grows from the inside out down the foot, so one thing you can do in this hard conditions is definitely give your horse some sort of a biotin product that's going to help. Actually, to do that year-round is actually really the best way to do it, because it takes about 6 months for a hoof to grow from the very, very top all the way down to where you're going to trim it. So some sort of a biotin product is always really super. But in this kind of dry heat, we always try to put some sort of a hoof moisturizer or conditioner on it, something, either whether it's an oil or if it's some sort of a cream or something to that effect that we try to put on the horse's feet every day before they get ridden. It's very important to be able to help maintain some sort of moisture when this dry heat. And the other thing to remember, too, with your horse's feet as the ground gets harder and the rocks get bigger and everything like that, is to make sure your horse has got enough padding underneath his feet. Some horses would really prefer to have some sort of a pad put on, or some what we call equithane, which is a pour-in pad that will mold directly to the shape of their foot. I think it's something that just keep an eye on it with your farrier, have a conversation with him, and see if that's something that he or she might be able to benefit from. Some horses don't need it, but your farrier will be able to tell you. But it's something that we do here. We try to keep an eye on it when our farrier's here. Obviously, it's the whole thing back to the team thing, that they're just as important as everybody else is keeping your horse happy. And they can tell us whether or not we need pads or equithane or something like that to keep the horses happier as this hard ground continues.
Well, the other thing I used to do, Max, and I don't know if you do this, is when you wash the horse down, I tend, while the hooves are still wet, to put the oil on top of that. Do you do that?
I don't here. I just don't find I find the oil sort of peels off, but a lot of times I know some people will put hoof oil on before they put them in the wash rack to keep the water and the drying effect of the water from drying their feet out even more.
Now, do you apply hoof condition or hoof oil to the frog and the sole, as well as the coronary brand and the hoof all around the hoof itself?
It all depends on the horse themselves. If they've got a really dry frog that's maybe really cracking and stuff, I will. I've a lot of my horses at this point now have pads on, so I can't actually apply anything to their sole. But it is something that is definitely worth noting if you can to see if how wet or dry the sole of the horse's foot is, and you can also paint the inside of their sole as well.
Paint the inside of the sole and make sure, of course, that the frog is dry, but right inside the frog, but that the bulbs and where it can crack up around the bulbs and around the coronary brand, the heels, absolutely important to keep those moist.
Definitely what take the biggest beating when it comes to this, and then from the heels it goes up to the ankles, and the ankles it goes to the tendons, and on all the way up to their back, and
yes.
So it's definitely something to be aware of in this really hard weather. And the other thing you try to do is just pick and choose where you ride and make sure that you're trying to pick the best ground possible for your horse.
And any other products that you recommend for hoof care to give maximum moisture in these conditions? The just your basic hoof oil, the Fibrings hoof oil, I think it's called, in the big yellow can. It's very inexpensive and it's great. But any other type of hoof creamy conditioner, anything that, I think there's stuff called Rainmaker, which is good, and I think Absorbing makes a nice product. I think anything that's sort of an oil-based or cream-based is going to be your best bet. And there's those hoof hardeners, which are great for the wet weather, but for this time of year here and on this part of the country, it's definitely some sort of a cream or an oil.
Well, thank you to Chris Stafford and to Max Corcoran for providing those tips from the Eventing Radio Show. This was episode 88. If you want to see the event or hear the whole Eventing Radio Show, go to eventingradio.com. And, of course, you can hear all of our shows on the network at horseradionetwork.com. And I'm very excited that later on this week we have our first of our listener tips coming up, and I've had more of you write in, and we're trying to get those arranged. So if you have the things that you would like to offer out to people that you think that they would love to hear some tips on horsetipdaily.com here in the Horse Radio Network, then just send me an email at Glenn with 2 N's at horseradionetwork.com, and we'll get you on, and we'll let you help educate the entire horse world here. And everybody, I'm a believer that everybody that's been a horse person for any amount of time has something to share, so we'd love for you to share it here. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and another new horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.